Hearing your example, it is not at all happening.
Yeah, but some parents withhold care and affection when things are not done their way. And that's how it becomes very toxic.
Yeah. So how do we manage this? We're going to be chatting more with Sha-En in just a little while. Meanwhile, in the meantime, reminder that we are live on Facebook at facebook.com/1FM91.3. Join us there for your chance to win a cool prize.
Yes, a $200 shopping voucher from Kiki and Sebi. They have luxury, safe, and sustainable baby products. Join us on Facebook Live right now.
Greatest hits.
1FM 91.3.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
Everyone on Facebook.
Hey,
Hello.
happy Monday, guys.
Alrighty, so how about tell us about the kind of things that you struggle with when it comes to perfectionism? In what areas do you strive for perfectionism for your chance to win this prize from Kiki and Sebi?
Ooh, for a moment there, you were looking at me and I was a little bit worried that I had to answer that question.
Because
I have to answer it. Okay,
apart
I
from
will.
motherhood, or I was going to say, I mean, what other areas do you try to be perfect?
How do you say? It's like, I kind of like, I like when things have a certain order, when things when it comes to like baking, right? You want to follow it exactly, right? Not a gram more, not a gram less. It's essential that you follow all these things.
Shehzad, are you?
I try to do it with my work, commentary in particular, right? Especially with football, because that's the sport I love most. And you want to get the perfect line, especially when they clip it out and it's in highlights and stuff like that, and you want to make it sound great, and it goes on social media, and you always try to think of a new line, and because I've done thousands of matches, it all sounds the same to me, so I'm always trying to come up with that line, that special line.
Wow, same. I think that's what we struggle with as well as broadcasters, because you just want it
Do
to
you feel
sound the
that?
right way.
Right.
And then after you leave your job, you're driving home sometimes, and
Yes.
you're like, I should have said it that way. I should have phrased it that way. I should have responded in this way.
I sometimes beat myself up over that. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't I think of it then when we were live?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think your mind, you do the best given what you have. In
Yeah.
that, when your mind is finally relaxed, then you start to get a bit more creative, right?
So does that mean we're putting pressure on ourselves sometimes to achieve that perfection?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much pressure to the point that it can be debilitating.
Yeah.
And that could result in you you are supposed to turn up that day for this gig. And then you're like, no, I can't meet that standard. Then you just don't turn up lah. There are people who, because it's so all or nothing, black and white thinking, so much pressure, just crumble.
It's interesting that you brought that up, like the pressure that comes with perfectionism.
Yeah.
I mean, I sometimes feel that way with outings as well. I have this idea of like, we'll go out, we'll have a big time, a big night, have lots of fun. In my head, it's going to be a perfect night out. And then I'm like, I'm very stressed thinking about it.
Yeah. And then you get disappointed also,
And then it's
right?
anticlimactic, right?
Yeah.
I'm happy to report that after I had my kids, I've learned to let go.
After
I've learned
number
to
two, is it?
Yes.
No, after the first one, I'm like, yes, things will not go to plan. The idea of perfection is not going to happen, and it's okay.
I think one solution is to marry someone who is less perfect than you, so then you adjust your standards a little bit. Because when it comes to house, like cleaning the house,
You know how that sounded, right? Just say.
is that settling? I don't know. Some people call it settling. Because like with the house, I used to think it has to be totally clean, 100% organized. Things have to be in place 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So, but with my husband, he's not like that. And so I used to get so uptight, so wound up over it. But now I've just learned to let it go a little so that I don't stress myself out.
Yeah, I mean, perfectionism is a lot about control. Because if you want to have those standards, you need to control. Because then you have this belief that only I can achieve that. Only I can do that. And therefore, when in a relationship, it can really get in the way, can get very toxic because you think, you always need to meet my standards. And the receiving party is going to feel like, no matter what I do, I'm not going to reach your standards, so why bother? In the beginning, they may try.
Good point.
And then after a while, they'll be like, why bother? I'm never going to reach that. Even if I reach that level 8, then they will want level 9, and then they'll run level 10, and then,
We're just going to bring that again up on air, like we're jumping back live on radio.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Awesome.
Roy Orbison. Microphone is helpful these days. You got it here on 1FM 91.3. Good morning. Welcome to the Brightside. You're with Carol, Lavinia and Shehzad. Joined in the studio by happiness scientist Yeo Sha-En. And today, the topic of perfectionism. All of us have been there, especially in the Singapore school system.
Yes.
We see it all the time. We want to turn in perfect work. But it also happens not in just our work life, but in our personal lives as well.
Yes.
Let's say in motherhood and even relationships. And earlier on off air on Facebook Live, we're just talking about how this can seep into our relationships and this idea of control.
Yes, correct. So like perfectionism, a lot of it is about control. Like if I want to reach a certain standard, I need to be in control. And if you have your partner and you say you need to be at this standard, and it's like you're trying to control another human being, and we know how well that's going to go.
What if the two in the relationship are both perfectionists?
They'll probably drive each other to the wall. I mean, I think a lot of communication needs to happen, like to be upfront and say like, I'm this kind of person, this is what and if they're both mutually in agreement, I guess it's okay lah. But I've seen relationships where they're both like that, and in the long run it can be very there's a lot of conflict, and especially if the standards expected of each other, number one, are too high, and they're also different for different things, right? And then you like expect this to be here, and then the other person is expecting that, but then you don't talk. And that's also very scary.
Because even within a relationship, there are so many things that could potentially go wrong when it comes to perfectionism, like household standards, hygiene, parenting, keeping your pet, going out, or, how you even manage conflict. I think all those finances, oh gosh.
I mean, at the workplace as well, right? Imagine you have a colleague who has high levels and perfectionist, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to hand this in 80% draft mode just to get a sensing. And they're like, no, you cannot. I mean, there are people who do that. Or you have a boss who demands perfection, then you also continually feel anxious, right? Because no matter what you do, it's just not.
You feel like you're falling short of those expectations.
Always. And mind you, I will tell you that the standard is probably already high.
Yeah.
On that note, right, so what are the traits, in a perfectionist that we should look out for, especially when that sense of perfectionism is going to be harmful to that person and also to those around them?
Yes, okay, so number one is that we mentioned this before, all or nothing thinking. I will never accept anything less than perfect. And so there's no gray zone, okay? Number two, they have a fear. Their fear is fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of shame. And so that fear drives them more than anything. You see, in the person who's not perfectionistic, you're driven by pull or a drive for pride and excellence, which is different because you want to do your best, but you're also okay to accept that sometimes you can't have that. We understand that struggles and failures are part of a journey and a process. And then the third characteristic is you're highly critical of yourself. It always is your fault if something doesn't meet the standard. Yeah, and of course in relationships sometimes you blame the other person. Yeah, and then procrastination, right? Just like we said, you don't turn up to work, you procrastinate. If I look at that, I can't meet the standard. Don't do first. But then that adds up. Imagine you have so many things on your to-do list. Yeah, so there are
these are some very familiar traits. Gosh.
The procrastination thing.
Yeah, especially. It's very all or nothing, like you said. I'm either going to do it very well, or I don't want to do it because I don't want to face judgment or disappointment in myself. Even.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I just procrastinate because I procrastinate.
You're perfect at procrastinating.
Kinda.
So, what can we do to create a good balance between pursuing excellence and not letting the chase for perfection go out of control?
Yeah. I think, if we're very hard on ourselves, then I think we need to practice a bit of self-compassion. Like just remind ourselves, I'm doing the best that I can, given the resources that I can. And especially in the workplace context, I'm going to hand this in even if it's not perfect because somebody else on my team, needs this. So I think a lot of assurance, self-kindness, and then of course, not comparing yourself to others. Sometimes you tend to compare and say I must reach this standard. And sometimes you make the mistake of maybe you're just a few years into the job and you compare yourself with the CEO and I need to be there. And of course, you need time. Learning is a process. So compare at maybe one level above you and say, I want to get there because I want to get better.
Now, what about if we look the other extreme when someone has zero motivation for perfection? How, obviously that seems to be a problem, but how can you kind of overcome that and prevent that prevents someone from reaching their optimum?
Yeah, because I mean, motivation is something that's an inner fuel, right? If you are not motivated, then perhaps something has been imposed on you. It is something that someone asked you to do. Therefore, you have no motivation. It's all coming externally. So one of the things you can ask is, how can I connect whatever I need to do, which I don't want to do, not motivated to do, is something that's bigger than that. So like coming back to house cleaning, right? Like I don't want to do the laundry. I got mountains of laundry to do. But then I think about the bigger picture, which is if I get through this laundry, my house is going to look awesome. And my friends are going to come and we can have a great time. So we need to have a more positive connection to it rather than the connection that we have now, which is like, this is boring to do, or I have no idea why I need to do this.
Wow.
I want to shout out to my friends because I've got some really great girlfriends who would come even if I didn't do my laundry, and they'll probably help me with
Well,
it.
then they accept
They're
you
perfect.
for who you are.
They're perfect.
Or they're judging you either way.
Maybe.
They're like, my house also the same, so I feel comforted. No, I just kidding.
But I do feel like also as you get older, you realize what are some of the bigger priorities. Connecting with your friends, having your friendships, relationships, those are bigger, more important matters rather than the nitty-gritty details of how dirty that spot was. Although secretly when they're there, I'll faster go and clean.
I mean, so one of the strategies to mitigate that is also to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
You recognize that this moment that we're enjoying together, all of us now, it's a great moment, and in that moment you can drop that
Drop a
need
few.
for perfection, that and all of that, and you realize, hey, it's not that bad, because perfectionists think about the past. Oh, I didn't do it last time, I must be better this time, right? Yeah.
Although having said that, this was a perfect moment.
That's what I was going to say. Sha-En, what are you saying? This is perfect. This is getting together. Is perfect.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Sha-En, for joining us this morning.
You're
It's been an awesome
welcome.
Thanks,
chat.
Sha-En.
Catch up on Facebook.com/1FM91.3. Are we still live?
Yep, still live.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Want to say hi to Wan Alun, always chiming in, and he says, we're only afraid that if it's not all or nothing, we'll start to accept many compromises in life, which should be unacceptable, like ketchup in bak chor mee.
Who wrote that? I love your responses all the
Very
time.
good.
Gold, Alun.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much. Perfect response. Huh?
Wow, very, very specific.
Sometimes you need a bit of ketchup in the bak chor, just a little, I'm not saying a lot.
What are you talking about? I'm having the supersize upgrade bowl.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us. Tell us about a time that you deal with perfectionism. In what area of your life you want to give away that cool voucher?
Yes, a $200 shopping voucher, all thanks to Kiki and Sebi. There you will find everything, baby products from mattresses to bamboo, cotton swaddle blankets. Oh, those are really nice and soft and wonderful. Remember, Kiki and Sebi is all about luxurious, safe, and sustainable baby products. Head on over to their website, Kiki Sebi, all in one word, KIKISEBBY.SG.
Your spelling is very good.
Thank you.
Almost perfect.
Perfect. Almost.
Almost perfect.
Almost. All or nothing.
Thank you so much, Sha-En.
Thank you, Sha-En.
You're the perfect guest.
Yes.
Good times. Greatest hits.